So it's clear with mass manufacturing, which is brought on by planned obsolescence, which is also brought on by what they used to call consumerism, which they've spread across the globe. Now there's everybody who's a consumer now. You can't just blame America. You can't just say the American consumer. You can't just say, oh, you're a product of your environment. But the problem is that replication of that saying with planned obsolescence has also modulated our expectations of life, right? So it's important to note that, and it's important to note the similarities between how you treat objects and how in relation to yourself. Especially with this, you know, they were calling the time before the COVID shot the before time. So just to let everybody, you know, that was on the news. That was openly spoke of on the news. Like, so there wasn't, you know, a bunch of it's hidden in plain sight, but I mean, so that's the confusing part, right? But now we're talking a different phase of science, like altogether, and quantum entropy supposedly measures the randomness in the environment or system. So ultimately, randomization helps with diversification of genomic material through people, plants, animals, all sorts of things. Take that tree, take a clone of it, an atypical clone, not an air branch, but an atypical clone, and then clone that 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 clone. But that's not what we're dealing with here. We're not dealing with that when we're talking about people with other issues. So some of this is within the breeding patterns, right? Because that's similar with people. Like, so look at Founder's syndrome. So that's where the same family members continue to interbreed, and then obviously the genomic material, the genetic base of said people narrowed down, and that's why there's abnormalities or malignancies within the DNA structure, which is just very simple to undo. Obviously, even people at TED Talks can show how you can change the DNA of flatworms that live up to 1,000 years to regrow limbs and all sorts of shit. So we know that we can do this without petrochemicals and petrochemical medicine. The question is do we really want to do that as a society? Well, when I pose this question to people who know and who are in the know, they say, why do you want to live forever? But these same people always go to the fucking hospital. They always go to the doctor when something's wrong, and they always talk about how much time that they still want. So what do you got to figure out what the fuck you really want in life, right?